America's history began with the arrival of indigenous peoples thousands of years ago. These early inhabitants developed complex societies and cultures, and sustained themselves through hunting, gathering, and farming. The first European contact with America occurred in 1492, when Christopher Columbus arrived in the Caribbean. This was quickly followed by the arrival of other European explorers, such as Hernán Cortés and Francisco Pizarro, who began the process of colonization and the displacement of native populations. In the 17th century, the first permanent British colonies were established in America, including Jamestown, Virginia and the Massachusetts Bay Colony. The 18th century saw the rapid expansion of British colonial settlements, as well as the growth of a diverse population that included enslaved Africans, European immigrants, and native peoples. The American Revolution, which began in 1775, was a pivotal moment in the country's history. The colonies successfully rebelled against British rule, and in 1783 the Treaty of Paris recognized the United States as a sovereign nation. The new nation struggled to establish a stable government, and the late 18th and early 19th centuries were marked by political and economic turmoil. In 1787, the United States Constitution was adopted, providing the framework for a federal system of government that still exists today. The period between 1820 and 1860 saw rapid territorial expansion and the growth of industry, as well as the intensification of the debate over slavery. The American Civil War began in 1861 and resulted in the abolition of slavery and the preservation of the Union. The war also marked a significant turning point in American history, as it greatly expanded the power of the federal government and paved the way for the country's transformation into a major industrial power. The late 19th and early 20th centuries were a time of rapid industrialization, urbanization, and immigration. The country's population more than doubled, and new technologies and innovations transformed the economy. The United States also became increasingly involved in world affairs, with the Spanish-American War in 1898 marking its emergence as a colonial power. The period between the two world wars was marked by a return to isolationism, but this was interrupted by World War II. The country played a major role in the war effort, providing crucial support to the Allies. The post-war period saw a significant economic boom and the country played a central role in the formation of the United Nations. The Cold War, which began in the late 1940s, marked a new phase in American history. The country became locked in a global struggle against communism, and this conflict had a major impact on domestic and foreign policy. The Civil Rights Movement, which began in the 1950s, brought about significant changes in American society and politics, as African Americans and other minorities struggled for equality and desegregation. During the 1960s and 1970s, the United States became increasingly involved in conflicts in Vietnam and Southeast Asia. The war in Vietnam was highly divisive, and it had a significant impact on American society and politics. The country also experienced significant social and cultural changes during this period, including the rise of the feminist and environmental movements. The late 20th century saw the end of the Cold War, as well as the emergence of the United States as the world's only superpower. The country was also marked by significant economic and technological changes, as well as by ongoing debates over issues such as globalization, immigration, and social inequality.